My apologies, guys. I had a call that came in that knocked me off my live, so we're going to do a part 2 to Car Chronicles. My apologies again, you guys. Just come back in and we'll continue, okay? Going back to where we just left off, Chris Fletcher asked Martell, okay, is co-parenting confusing for him or is it confusing for Melody, okay? Martell says that it's confusing for the kids, okay? He says that the kids are well behaved and that they're doing well in school, but deep down something, okay, is really bothering them. He knows that something's really bothering them deep down, okay? My apologies to you guys. We're going to have to make this a part 2 of Car Chronicles because someone called and kind of knocked me offline. I got a phone call that just came in that knocked me off my live. So I'm doing this as a part 2. So there's 2 parts to Car Chronicles this morning, okay? So going back to what I was saying, with Chris Fletcher asking Martell, is co-parenting difficult for him or Mel? He's saying that it's confusing for the kids because the kids are well-behaved kids and that they're doing well in school. Even though they're doing well in school, that he knows deep down that something is really bothering the kids, okay? Yeah, Knox is bothering them. The fact that they're not in the house with their mother and father, the fact that they know that you are the one that actually broke up their household, Martell, that is what's bothering them. But they're trying to still come over for their visits with you, okay, even though they side-eyeing you, knowing that you are the real issue as to why they are no longer in the household with their mother and father, and the fact that they see that their mother is struggling with this situation and trying to move on as well and still have moments that's very vulnerable for her. They know that he's the cause of this, and I think he's seeing that now, okay? The kids are being terrorized by having to be around Knox, and then the fact that they can't see their mother for a full 7 days. Yes, that is very confusing for them. That's very confusing. And then the fact that they have to be in a very unstable environment. Martell is very unstable because he is bitter and unhappy. So their life is chaotic because you had to go out here and cheat and be greedy and stupid. So then Nell says to Martell, she says that she sat with Martell talking to him until 5 o'clock in the morning about how he missed Mel and about how he messed up his life, okay? And how she told him that this was going to happen if he continued cheating. Now, the Fletchers have been talking on and off to Martell throughout this situation, but he has not taken anybody's advice because he never thought Melody was going to leave, because he felt like, okay, Sugar Mama is a baby. Melody ain't gonna leave me with no newborn baby. And that's exactly what she did, and that completely blew his mind. That she finally left after 5 years of telling him over and over and over she was gonna leave. So Martell could not accept and or grasp the fact that after 3 years of Melody not coming back to him, he could not grasp the fact that Melody actually left, okay? And Martell also put out there that he was giving Melody 3 years to come back to him after this divorce. That he realizes that there's a divorce, but he went on to say that he's given her 3 years, I guess, to come around and come back to him. That is why he is harassing her like he has been harassing her, because he knows that it's approaching the 3 years. It's approaching the 3-year mark that in their divorce. They're approaching 3 years. So he's doing everything that he can in order to get Melody back, to keep his word, because he's been telling everybody, I'm giving Melody up to 3 years to come back to me, to finally come around and come back, okay? And Nell let Martell know that he messed it up because he would not stop cheating and focus on his marriage versus what he wanted. Martell made it about what he wanted versus focusing on his marriage, okay? They've been having conversations with him forever. But he didn't take heed to anything that was said because he never thought anything was going to happen in terms of losing Melody. So now that the realization has hit him, he can't take it and he's scrambling. He's scrambling. That's why he has the bags under his eyes. That's why he's running around here working overtime trying to get her back, okay? So Martell, he lets out this long sigh, you guys, like he did at the reunion, like, like, oh God, I know I effed up now, okay? So y'all remember when Carlos was checking him and started all that crying and mess? He started that. He started doing that because he knew he effed up after Nell told him that. Nell said, look, I talked to you till 5 o'clock in the morning telling you over and over and over, Martell, that you needed to stop this mess, and you still would not listen and was doing what you're doing. So Nell says to Martell, she says that Martell was there during his marriage, but his mind was not there. He was more focused on running with Arionne and doing everything else that he wanted to do, but he was not there. He had already checked out. Martell checked out of his marriage. And now that he's checked back in, trying to check back in, baby, ain't no reservations. That's what Melody letting you know. You checked out of your marriage and you are mad because there's no reservations. Ain't nowhere for you to go. She don't want you back. She don't want you back. She's letting you know ain't no reservations. Ain't nowhere. No. I'm not coming back to you. You gone too far. You gone too far. So that's why he's working overtime. The 10 dozens of roses. He's doing whatever he got to do because his deadline is quickly approaching in terms of this 3-year mark that he has put out there. So Martell didn't think, like I said, that Melody would leave him with the whole infant, which was Sugar Mama, which is why he's crushed. So he's sitting there in this particular scene looking defeated and looking crazy. So then Nell says to him that she told Martell over and over and over that it's not just about you. And now you see it, and now it's too late. He just sitting there with his hands up to his face like this. And y'all know anytime Martell gets caught up and you calling him out, he puts his hands up to his face. That's a means of him covering and trying to hide his real, true emotions. Because narcissists don't like to show their emotions, all right? So then Martell says that he's still so puzzled at the fact that it was hard to leave Coleslaw alone. And that he was... that he feels that he was being selfish. He says that he feels very puzzled that it was so hard for him to leave Coleslaw alone. It's simple. You tell her, look, I'm going home to my wife and I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to do as a husband. You kept telling Melody that I'm going to be a better man for you. I'm not cheating anymore. But then you walk right out the door and go straight to Arionne. So you played yourself and you're mad because the game backfired on you. So then Nell tells Martell in this particular scene, says that Coleslaw wanted Mel's place as the wife. Okay. Regardless, okay, to Arionne going on Tasha K, telling Tasha K that she didn't want to marry Martell because Tasha asked her, said, do you want to marry Martell? Do you want Martell to marry you? And Arionne said on Tasha K, no, I don't want to marry him because I know how Martell is. But that was the goal. That is why she continued to mess with Martell, because he put it in her mind that she was going to be the next Mrs. Holt. He was telling her whatever he wanted to tell her to get what he wanted from her. Marriage was never on the table for Arionne and Martell. The game was that you would give me what I want because I'm not getting it at home. And she wound up falling in love, and she got so cocky thinking that she was going to take Melody's spot, and it blew up in her face as well as Martell's face. So Martell is now blaming Coleslaw for his divorce. Okay? Martell is blaming Coleslaw for his divorce. Okay, and he also resents the fact that Arionne had Knox because that was the deal breaker in Melody actually not fooling with him no more and not coming back. Melody is not coming back because she's not taking care of another woman's child, especially Arionne's. And Martell knows that. There's not a chance in hell for Melody to come back. For 5 years, she allowed him, well, not allowed him, but for 5 years, she stayed with him while he cheated and kept asking him to stop and was going to stay with him. But it wasn't until Martell came and told her on Mother's Day that Arionne was pregnant with his child. Melody said it's enough. Enough is enough. She had already made up her mind, I'm gone, because he would not stop cheating. So how do you tell your wife, who you've been with almost 12 to 14 years, that your side chick is pregnant with your child? Okay? So as long as Martell could cheat in peace and sneak around with Arionne, it was all good. But when Coleslaw started talking and putting his business out there and messing up his plan, that is when things took a turn. So then Nell says to Martell, says that people tend to want what they can't have, okay? So the whole time that Martell sat there staring off into space, y'all know that's what he does when you call him out on his bullshit. That's how he did with Carlos at the reunion, staring off into space. He couldn't look at nobody. He was trying to hold his emotions back because he was about to cry. Okay? He was sitting there looking crazy while Nell was telling him people always want what they can't have. Talking about Arionne. Arionne wanted Martell. She still wants Martell, but Martell don't want her. And he's saying it on national television. But she feels, and this is how Arionne operates. She talks that big shit, but then she sits back and then she goes ghost. And she don't say anything. She won't go live. And y'all know that's what she lives to do. So now that Martell is telling his real feelings and the fact that he wants Melody back and to go back to Melody, Arionne, she's just going to lay low because she don't want that heat. She don't want people checking her. And she don't want to look stupid because Martell has made her once again look like a fool. He's made her look like a fool. So then Martell, like I said, he's working overtime to get back with Melody with the 10 dozens of roses. Not claiming Sheree on national television after telling everybody that she was his woman and that he thinks that she's such an upgrade. And being mad at everybody for coming for Sheree. Okay? And he's doing all of this on national television. All right? So like I said, with Arionne being real quiet, that speaks volumes because they've had conversations. And the fact that there's rumors out that she could or could not be pregnant, it speaks volumes. And if that's the fact, Melody definitely ain't coming back. Well, she ain't coming back anyway. But I think it has not registered with Martell that the relationship between he and Melody is over. She don't really want to co-parent with him, but she's doing it because that's what's best for the kids. Okay? She has cut off all communication with him because Martell is completely difficult. And he's proving, okay, and it was proven in the recent live that Martell did with Arionne that they're still sleeping together. Because Arionne made mention of people keep saying that I'm pregnant, and Martell asked her, well, if you're pregnant, who you pregnant by? And whenever Arionne says, if I'm pregnant, you know it's going to be by you, which speaks volumes of the fact that you're still sleeping with this girl. So how is it that you have feelings in terms of trying to better yourself, to get yourself back together, to go back to your ex-wife who you claim to love and want to be back with and buying all these damn roses for, when you are still messing with the op? Arionne is op. Not that Melody is going back to him even if she stops messing with him, if he stops messing with her. But the simple fact of you are still playing this game, Martell, and it's still blowing up in your face. Martell still feels like he can play this game of saying one thing and doing another and still continue to play with Melody. And that she don't see it. He's playing himself. So the end game, the end result of this all is that Arionne, you didn't get wifed up because that's what you were thinking whenever Melody filed for divorce, that finally Martell is going to come around and marry you because you've given him all this time and attention and you've been faithful to him, a married man, mind you. Because you've been faithful to a married man who belonged to somebody else and you fought so hard to keep his secrets and allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do and or control you because that's what he wanted to do, you still did not get what you wanted out of this because he's still trying to run back to where he used to be. So the joke is on the both of you guys because Melody is still on her stance of saying no. And I applaud her for sticking to her guns of saying, no, I will not allow myself to go back into a toxic situation. I'm done with this. You can have Arionne. I am done. And the fact that Carlos King and production did not show this particular clip speaks volumes of the fact that they are still protecting Martell and his bullshit. And they're still trying to run with the narrative of fixing his reputation to make these pick-me's and everybody else think that Martell is trying to be a better man when in fact he's only trying to become a better manipulator. That's what it boils down to. Martell is trying to become a better manipulator. And I applaud Nell and Chris Fletcher for keeping his feet to the fire in that conversation and asking him the real questions because Martell sat there looking defeated. He couldn't give a straight answer, which he never does anyway. And it speaks volumes to the growth that he's portrayed, which has been none. There's no growth. There's no growth. I don't care how much Carlos King and everybody else try to say that Martell is in therapy. He has not shown any growth. None. No growth. They're still protecting him. They're still trying to protect his reputation so that he can have a spot on this show, so that people won't stop watching, because they've already signed petitions and everything else to get him off this show. They don't want him on this show, but Carlos don't want to let him go because he's created a rapport with Martell off of this show. Martell already said, I talk to Carlos every day. What you got to talk to Carlos about every day? What you got to talk to Carlos about every day? You should be spending that time to focus on yourself and getting yourself in a better headspace, Martell. That's the problem. That's just like a child trying to be the teacher's pet, bringing an apple every day to the teacher, bringing snacks to the teacher so that you can become closer to this person, so that they don't see your bullshit and that they overlook it and allow you to continue to be toxic and get your way. And that's what it is. That's the mess that I see here in this situation between Carlos and Martell. Carlos coddles and production. They both coddle Martell and allow him to be toxic so he can continue to be on this show and portray himself to be completely different than what he is. He don't really want Melody back. He wants what Melody possesses. That's what it is. But we're going to get on out of here. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for coming back to the second video. I apologize. Something happened to where somebody tried to call me while I was on live and it knocked me completely off live. But I appreciate you guys coming back. Please hit the like button on this video as well as the first video. I'm going to post post both videos so that you guys can get part 1 and 2 of our Car Chronicles for today. All right. So there will be 2 videos for Tuesday's Car Chronicles. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Love you guys down. Thank you, Mods, for doing such a great job. Thank y'all for coming over to the second video, which you guys saw me going live again. Okay. Y'all enjoy your Tuesday, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay. Thank you for any mods if you joined us today as well. Okay. Love you guys that way, and goodbye.